Hey everyone, welcome back to the Plant-Based Chow. I'm Holly Gramling, and today we are going to kind of make like a casserole, like a Tex-Mex casserole. And I'm also shooting the video a little differently today than what I normally do. I don't have a cameraman. I am going to be all by myself for two reasons. One, my cameraman's doing his schoolwork, and number two, my kitchen's a mess, and I'm kind of in between things, and I have to get this done and also get to my other job. So I'm going to try and keep the camera focused on what we are here for, which is to show you how to make this yummy, awesome recipe. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and we're going to take a look at our ingredients. Come on over. Okay, here we are. We got, for our ingredients, we have a orange and red bell pepper and a red onion, chopped and diced. Here, this is actually only 2 cups right here. I'm waiting on my 3rd cup to get done cooking over there. But this is, you'll need 3 cups altogether of wild rice cooked. Here we have 3 cups of kale chopped up. And of course that will go down when we cook. And then here I have a can of diced tomatoes, a can of black beans drained and rinsed. I have a can of corn, and then I have a small can of tomato sauce, about 8 ounces, so you'll need 1 cup. Here we have 3 cloves of garlic, 3 cloves of garlic chopped up and diced. And then over here we have our jalapeno, all nice and chopped up and diced as well. Seeded as well. I didn't use the seeds to kind of not make it as spicy. Okay, so for our spices in our cup here, in the middle here we have chili powder. And we have 1 tablespoon of chili powder. We have cumin over here, which is 1½ teaspoons. We have some paprika, and that is about... I actually only used about ½ teaspoon here, but you can use up to a teaspoon. That depends on you and your taste and what you like. You can also use cayenne pepper, but about ¼ teaspoon of cayenne pepper, but I didn't use any because, again, like I always say, I have kids who do not like spicy food, and I'm even kind of finicky about it too. It has to be just right. So I try not to add the heat until later. So yes, you can add cayenne if you want, up to ¼ teaspoon. Also here in our cup we have salt. This is about 1¼ teaspoons of salt. And then lastly we have about ¼ teaspoon of coriander. All there in our little spice cup. And then lastly over here I have a little bowl of tortilla chips. These are baked whenever we try to eat these. I do try to get the baked ones so they're not deep fried, and try not to have so much oil. But you can definitely even just omit these if you want to keep it whole food plant-based, and just eat the casserole with all these yummy ingredients in there. Also, an optional topping is about ½ cup of the vegan shredded cheese as well. But again, if you want to keep it clean and whole food plant-based, you can omit the tortilla chips that have oil in them, and you can omit the cheese if you also don't want any of that. Okay, so those are our ingredients, and let me show you guys what we're going to do with all of this stuff. Okay, so we have our some of our ingredients. I brought the bell peppers, the onions, and the seasonings, and the garlic and jalapeno on over here to my stove, and we are going to saute these for about 7 to 8 minutes, maybe 10, depending on how long it takes, just for them to get soft. So as I always do, I put about 2 tablespoons of water in the pan so that we can water saute, so we're not going to use any oil here. And then I'm going to go ahead and add all of my peppers and onions and the garlic and jalapeno into the pan first, and then let those cook down, and then later we'll add the seasonings. All right, as you see, we have our peppers and onions and everything all cooked down. They're looking nice and soft. So from here, we're just going to go ahead and add our other ingredients. So our can of black beans going in. Our can of diced tomatoes. Our little can of tomato sauce. There. And our can of corn. And our spices. I'm going to give that a stir first, just to kind of get this stirred around. And we still have our rice and our kale to add as well. You might want to add your kale little bits at a time, handfuls at a time or so, just to kind of give it time to cook down in between. Unless you're using a much larger pot than I am, or pan, then you can just toss it back in, or all of it in at once. But I kind of have to take it little by little here. Get all those flavors mixed up. Looking good, smelling good so far. Alright, gonna add our rice. This is our 3 cups of rice that I had cooked up. I'm gonna go ahead and stir that in. As you can see, I've had it in the cup for a little while, so it's warmed to the cup. But once we get it in here, mixed with the liquid and stuff, it will break apart very easily. As you see, now that I have added the rice, I really don't have a ton of room in here, so we'll definitely add that kale little by little. Sorry if my camera is bouncing around a lot, guys. Like I said, I'm trying to stir this and hold the camera still at the same time. It's a little bit more difficult than what you'd think. Especially when you don't have the practice. Maybe if I did it more often, I could get that down, but since I usually have a cameraman. Alright, so that is all mixed in, and of course we'll grab our kale. Trusty kale here. Put that here on the stove. And now I chopped this up pretty small. I tried to get it as small as I could. When I chopped it, that way it would be even smaller once it cooked down and everything. So just trying to kind of stir that around, get that in here. Now from here, what we're going to do is we're just going to take this mix and we're going to dump it into a casserole dish. So I'll finish stirring this in, but I just want to show you real quick the casserole dish. So I'm using this here. And this one actually might even be a little bit too small for all of our ingredients here. I'm not really for sure if it's gonna be too small or not. This is about, I think, what was it? A 2.8 liter, I think it says. I can't really tell on the back of it right now. Anyway, and I went ahead and I took about, I don't know, maybe a half a teaspoon of oil and oiled this up just a little bit because, you know, frankly, I just don't want all of it to stick to the bottom of the pan, but I also want to use as little oil as possible. So we're going to put all of this in here and go ahead and preheat your oven to about 375. Okay, so I've managed to get all of my casserole filling into my casserole dish. As you can see, I put it in there, kind of smoothed out the top. And from here, what you're going to do, if you are using the chips, from here you want to just kind of take those chips and kind of crush them up just a little bit over the top of it here, and over, kind of spread them out a little bit. You know, 2 to 3 handfuls, I think, would probably be okay. And just kind of spread them around a bit. And then what you're going to do from here, You will cover this with some foil or whatever you have to cover yours with. And we are going to put it into the oven for about 15 minutes or so. Also, if you are using the vegan cheese, this would be another time where you would go ahead and add that now, about a quarter cup on top. I went ahead and mixed about a quarter cup in with the mix, but you can also add some on top, but I'm not going to really do that. I'm just going to stick with this here. So you are going to cover it, and then you're going to bake it 15 minutes, 375. After 15 minutes, you're going to remove the aluminum foil, and then you're going to put it back in for about another 5 to 10 minutes. Now you can go ahead and remove it from the oven after the last 5 minutes and scoop it into a bowl or a plate, whichever one you would like to eat out of. There we go. Nice. And then from here you have your choice. You can top it with some salsa. I'm going to top mine with some nice freshly cut avocado and a little bit of green onions sliced up. And there you have it. You can top it with salsa. You can make a vegan sour cream, cashew cream, or you can buy the vegan sour cream as well. But again, I would say make it there. That way it will be whole food, plant-based still. But you can also buy the vegan sour cream tofu from the store if you would like. But there it is. It's looking beautiful, and maybe I will get a taste tester over here. All right, so here's our taste tester, Jericho. My normal cameraman.
Yeah.
How is it?
Mexican? I can't describe it.
Well, is it good? You like it?
It's almost like an enchilada. Oh yes, very good.
Very good. Very good. Did you hear that? Very good from 12-year-old picky eater. Cool. I'm glad you like it. It was a quick and easy recipe. So it only took about, I would say about 30 minutes altogether